Hello folks, Reverend CrystalCox here, Goddess Church. Welcome to the age of Aquarius. We've been waiting for this our whole lives, right? Lightworkers, starseeds. And guess what? Now it's time to get to work. Yeah, we've been doing the work for decades. As lightworkers, we have been strategically placed all around the world to beam up light, much like the monoliths. Saturn, the conjunction come around and it took a read of humanity. Say, for example, this is just crude and something simple, but say it was like, oh, 50% of humanity loves strawberries. Okay, so we'll bring in more strawberries. 51% love love, or 51% are fear-based, or 51% want more rain. It kind of takes a read, because we mirror reality. We're quantum, we create our own reality. Every thought, every belief, where we focus every day creates our reality. So there was a reading taken from every one of us, beaming out our frequency of what kind of world we want to live in. And the monoliths are part of this. That's not what this video is about, though. But the Saturn, I love the new reminder from Bashar on how Saturn's return and the conjunction is taking a reading of where humanity's at and mirroring back the reality you want. Okay? So, we're in the age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius, right? We're in New Earth. We are in high frequency energy. You get the reality you believe in. You get the reality you choose. And how you're choosing is by every thought, every emotion. You get the reality of things that match that. Mainstream medicine, mainstream media, they're done. Whether they know it or not, they're completely done. Mainstream medicine has been completely discredited, thank goodness. I have been studying alternative medicine for 30 years. I've helped hundreds of people cure themselves of cancer. I always used to say, if one person can cure themselves of cancer, why can't you? Right? High alkaline. I have information out there on natural healing and high alkaline for cancer. I believe a little different now, if you've seen my recent videos on alternative medicine, because I know now that we can quantum shift into instant healing, seen it, done it, and that we can move realities. You know, for example, the sun used to be yellow, we've moved somewhere where the sun is white. The heart used to be on the left, it's in the center. The kidneys have changed. Anatomy, geography, movies, Bible, supernaturally changed. And so now that I know that, I assist people with their belief system and knowing who they are, because that is actually what creates and projects the reality. I used to think that herbs and vitamins and that's what I helped people heal before we moved into New Earth. But now it's full-on quantum. And emotions were always attached. Every disease was always about an emotion. I had trouble believing that for decades. And the New Earth energy brought it clearer to me. Where I've seen things where emergencies, we've got to go to the hospital, this is an emergency amount of pain. And at the same time, working with the belief system, like what must I believe to be feeling this? Because there was an emotion, there was a thought, there was something that we could identify, and the pain let up. And it was so dramatic, I didn't really think it was possible. And then I seen like Greg Braden there's a video out there of an ultrasound with a tumor on it. And they did energy healing, Reiki, shamanic healing, intuitive healing over the person, and it dissolved. And they could see it on film. My mother had breast cancer, and we healed it with alkaline, high alkaline. And well, if you're interested in that, email me at ReverendCrystalCox@gmail.com. But the ultrasound showed it. It was about 2 inches, and it was in its, the fluid sac and the proteins around it. And after we cured her, it was gone. But the sac was still there. The outside of it, we had dissolved it with high proteins. And, well, like I said, email me if you're interested in that. And the doctors had to say, after like $70,000 later, wanting to remove both breasts and chemo and radiation, wanted to remove her lymph glands, they said, oh, I guess we were mistaken and it wasn't really there. Because they don't want people to know that you can cure yourself of cancer. Cancer's always been curable. They make up these diseases to keep you in this debt slavery system. This is the mainstream medical system gone, okay? We've known about vaccines. I mean, You can read their own pamphlet, their own side effects. Why would you be willing to risk that on you or your kids? The HP vaccine, all the vaccines. I mean, I studied all that in my early 20s when my mother had, she started taking Primrose. Or no, Primrose, not Primrose. And from pregnant mare's urine, you know, for menopausal stuff. Menopause is natural, you know. It's not that big of a deal if you just let it happen. But she wanted to stop the hot flashes. She wanted to, you know, whatever she wanted. But she did end up getting breast cancer, whether it was related or not, whatever. But I studied tons on hormones, on natural hormone therapy, learned about prescription drugs and the pharmaceutical whistleblowers at a very young age. Not because of my mom's stuff. I was very interested in it. Forestry, interested in healing plants, just have always been. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to tell you about my mother's. So pharmaceutical drugs causing these reactions. So I knew, right? And I've never been on them. Sometimes I would do antibiotics. Strep throat, there's a throat thing sometimes where every breath hurts, excruciating, screaming pain. Antibiotics are good. There's been different times I've taken antibiotics, but I believe hospitals are only for like broken bones, you know, resetting things. They're not healers. They're not nice to me. They've never been nice to me. I'm just a commodity to them. Whereas healers, and some of the quantum healers information out there is so cool, you know, where you can just, Raymond Grace, and also the woman that does Reality Shifters book talks about, I forget her name at this moment, but a broken leg, you know, you can move them into reality where it wasn't broken. Believe it or not, if you've seen some of my videos before, I don't care. But, and Raymond Grace did that too. Guy, you know, 20 years, just a limp. Took him back to this time where he could change the past. If we change the past, because all time is at once, so we remember something different from the past, we play it back different, we bring up that emotion, and then we can quantum shift into reality where we don't have that pain. Now we can do it all in one leap if we really believe it and we really go there, or we can do it in stages. Again, believe it, don't believe it. I've studied a massive amount on all of this, and everything I say I know 100% true. Okay? Is it your truth? I don't know your truth. Is it what you believe about your God and your religion and your reality? Don't know. But I know that I've shifted parallel realities. There's some sort of spirit in here like itching my nose, man. I know I've shifted realities. I know that I used to be on the Sagittarius arm, now I'm on the Orion arm. I had heart tests. I'll tell you my Mandela effect stories with my heart and stuff another time. But there's no doubt in my mind that I moved parallel realities and that there are lots of them. Check out Dolores Cannon. Check out Bashar. Abraham Hicks doesn't really talk about that so much. But her stuff is really good because you're constantly reminded to stay in the vortex, which means you're constantly feeling into the moment. So every moment you are assessing what's in that moment. Like, oh, like say you felt like going to someone's house, feels good, you're all excited, and then all of a sudden you went, I don't really feel like it. Don't make yourself do that. It's feeling into the moment. Okay? And so Abraham Hicks is really good at reminding you to own your thoughts, pay attention to every thought and every emotion, because that's all that matters, okay? People, your job, your kids, everything outside of you doesn't matter as much as your own thoughts, because you create a version of them. And everything someone says to you, you put a definition. Just like we learned the English language, or, you know, some of you guys know multiple languages, just like you learned those languages, so the word apple, for example, that you put to a fruit, a red fruit or whatever, green, you learned that, you put a definition to it. So what someone says to you, you put a definition to that. So if it makes you feel bad, that's your definition of it. So you go, I like to do the EFT tapping with it. I say, well, what must I believe to be upset about that? Well, I must believe, and then when you state the belief, then you bring unconscious beliefs to the conscious forefront. And you say, oh, well, I don't really believe that. I must believe it to feel this, but I don't believe that. You just kind of bring it up and clear it. You don't have to do nothing, say nothing, change it. You just identify the belief. Because our belief turning into our absolute knowing is what creates our reality. So I know that when I go to sit down on this chair, it's going to catch me. I have an absolute knowing, not a belief. If I sat on this chair many times, and if it fell like 4 out of 5 times, I would be trained that it might fall. Like with, they can't get my teeth numb when they do my teeth, so I'm kind of trained to that no one can numb my teeth. Even the people that are like, oh, well, we can, they can't. And right, so I'm kind of trained and conditioned. These are how we put the definitions to things. But when we go, wait a minute, what do I believe in this moment? We can kind of clear that energy. So anyway, mass medicine, boards of health, the FDA, and everybody coming in and going, no, black salve doesn't cure cancer. Edgar Casey, Renee Case. I mean, I could just list all of the cancer cures. But you sell one of them, the FDA comes in, they all imprison you, they jail you, they torture you, they ruin your shop, right? Because it's always been curable, but the corruption that is now being exposed through the coronavirus, because of the vaccine stuff people are waking up to now, a lot of light workers have known about it for decades. And so the mainstream medical system will be gone. Because healing, there's a cure for every disease. It's always been known. Okay, and now we're even in another level of it. So now it's not just herbs or energy, it's frequencies, cure. There's a whole bunch of Tesla and all kinds of inventions that have been held from you. Free energy, med beds, plasma heal. There's so many ways to heal you that have been kept from you. You heard of Thor, like in the Eisenhower stuff, when the alien alliance kind of first started. Things like the Galactic Federation. There's so much to know. So anyway, mass, big medical going away. Okay, they're going to have to shift. They can't keep just taking everybody's money and keeping them prisoner to being sick so they can keep feeding their greed machine, okay? Because pharmaceutical drugs are poisoning people. It's all horrible. They get patents on plants and they make the plant illegal. I mean, it's terroristic. I remember learning it in my 20s, and the first time I just bawled and bawled. It was just so disheartening that I was like, I found all of these cures and I was helping all these people, but you don't talk about it or you get shut down. You get killed. I knew a story in these people that they moved, they were selling black salve, cancer salve, for cancer cures. And someone that had worked in the CIA, someone who had shut him down, had ended up starting a business and went to Ecuador and started their own black salve business. I guess some of the Bushes took it. The elite, they use all this stuff. And other evil, dark things. So the medical system is being exposed. No more terrorism there. No more let's remove your breasts and chemo you and nuke you when you really could just take a plant and cure it. Okay, it's terroristic. It's horrible. 30 years for me of helping people with alternative medicine, like some underground drug dealer. Oh, here, man, have this grass, have some alkaline. All you got to do is some cesium, some B17. I could list all the cancer cures, but boy, you better not say it, right? And those times are changing, and Trump enacted a whole bunch of different things for us to have the right for our own medical, and so that's amazing. And then big media has also been exposed through Trump with this fake news. A lot of people aren't awake to that, but I've been awake to that since my 20s. I always knew it wasn't real. I always knew what they were faking. I knew 9/11 when it happened. I had spirit guides that told me stuff. And so the media right now is censoring the President of the United States. So whether you like him or not, I mean, if there was one to be censored, why didn't we censor Bush, right? We've been in wars for decades and decades and decades. These politicians got us in these wars for their own greed and kept us slaves. And for some reason, people don't see that Donald Trump, in working with the Galactic Federation of Light, as we move into the age of Aquarius and as we're ascending, stopped these wars. We have peace on Earth. We have peace in the Middle East. It wasn't 47 years of Biden and all of his sick, dark, evil, twisted, stuff that did it. It was the beings of light working with Earth through the Galactic Federation of Light and working with and through Donald Trump and the people around him. Pleiadians, light workers, humans. And like I said, if you don't believe this stuff, if you didn't believe this stuff, you probably wouldn't be watching my channel. Or I assume that you don't hate me and you're watching this, but if you do, I send you love right now. I send all of you love. So, big media, no more. I took a big swipe at them years ago in their monopoly on free speech, and took them down a peg, let's just say. No more big media. They're not trusted anymore. They fail over and over and over. And just think about it. Think of all of the money that goes into like Bernie getting screwed. You know, I mean, I was Bernie or bust. It's twice he did. So all that money, all that campaigning, all those people, imagine, just imagine 20%, let's say, of that money went to getting people from not sleeping on the streets. Okay, campaign ads. There's just so much money that goes into that sick system. And why do we need government? We got Congress and Senate just fighting with each other and doing nothing for the people. Why do we need a government? Why do we need politicians? They tax you and they give you what? Be like, oh, well, we got our roads. Well, no, all your money went to the central banks. All this stuff is being cleared now. If you live in an area and something needs done, the people can get together. There's one business here where I live. The locals got $100,000 just to keep it open another month. I mean, there's money out there to do the projects and do it with the people who know how to do the projects. Instead of paying city officials, county officials, like $150,000 a year, paying hundreds of thousands for reports and engineered this and blah, 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 you could just do the job, right? And so getting rid of government on that level is coming. And that's the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, and we're here. We've moved to that reality. So every day when you're watching what's playing out, what version do you want? What version of reality do you want? Don't pretend that there's a party or even a different candidate or whatever. How about, what if there's this? What if there's one door that's war, one door no war? One door you can have access to cures, one door you don't. One door you can have free energy, one door you don't. One door you have lockdowns and mask mandates and mandatory vaccines, and one door you're free. What do you want for you and your children? Don't look at candidates, okay? Donald Trump is working with the Galactic Federation of Light to take out all the dark in both sides and all the candidates. Okay, the Republicans too. This is not about party. This is about light. This is about divinity. This is about divine feminine, divine masculine, and healing. This is about being in New Earth, on New Earth, in the age of Aquarius. Okay, pick the life you want, not the candidate, not the party. What kind of life do you want? Do you want war? Do you want mandatory vaccines? Do you want to be taxed 60% everything you make? Do you want to be a slave to their system? Do you want pharmaceutical companies to keep terrorizing your family when there's known cures? What kind of life do you want? And right now, you get to frickin' choose, man. We are there. We are a New Earth. What do you want? What kind of life feels the best for you and your family? No face on a candidate, no party. I asked someone the other day if that question of if you didn't know parties existed and you didn't know candidates and you only had to pick between endless wars, which we've been in for 50 years, or peace on earth, which door would you pick? It's pretty obvious, right? But people are so indoctrinated, they're so MKUltra'd, they're so in a trance, like Trans-America, that Kathy O'Brien, they've entranced you. And the light workers, the starseeds came to wake you up. And now everybody's awake, pretty much who's going to be awake. And Saturn come around, and we're entering the age of Aquarius, and we're beaming down, projecting the reality that we want to live in. So make sure that every thought is on what you want. So don't be like, grr, that guy's a blah, 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 I don't want that. Grr, da, 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 da. What do you want? So go, oh, I love that. I love the color of that car. I love that tree. I love that pie. I love that park. I love that trail. I love that person. Right? Instead of what you hate, what you love. Okay? You're creating reality with every word and every thought. Goddess bless you all, and welcome to the age of Aquarius. Welcome to the age of Aquarius.